Burundi was established as a democratic country in 1966. It is filled with beautiful green farmland and mountains. In 1984, the president of Rwanda and the president of Burundi were assassinated in a plane crash. What followed was genocide in Rwanda, and Burundi was plunged into a horrible 13-year civil war. Thousands of children were now orphaned, not knowing where or what to do. What would you say to this child? Tens of thousands were killed, and here a child sits surrounded by death. Hundreds of thousands of refugees from Rwanda poured into an already overcrowded Burundi. In 2005, President Nkurunziza, the good governance minister as he is called, was elected. He inherited a generation of uneducated youth with no job opportunities, disjointed families, and hundreds of thousands of orphans. The health and medical system is devastating. Hospitals lack the basic equipment and supplies to care for the sick. You can say they are more like a place to die than a place to get well. Clean sheets, sterile environment, this is what we expect. Pictured above is what they have. How would you feel if your loved one was in this hospital bed? Far from sterile, not even a place to keep out death and disease. Burundi's infant mortality rate of 87.8 deaths per 1,000 live births is more than double the rate worldwide. Far away from Burundi is a warehouse in the United States with medical equipment and supplies that would bring the hospitals of Burundi further into the 21st century and more of a place to heal than die. What would we say as Christians, knowing this and not helping? Again, what would you say to this child? Even with these tragic conditions, God gives us reason for optimism. The president and most of the leaders of the country are Christians. First Lady Reverend Denise Nkurunziza reminds Burundians to give thanks to God for the good things he is doing in the country as she helps to develop new programs throughout Burundi. The education and medical systems will improve, even if it's very slowly, because if God is for us, who can be against us? Burundi has initiated sport. Pictured here is a national soccer tournament where the children are overjoyed to play, regardless of conditions. How many U.S. youth would feel the same? They are changing their country using Christian values. 85% of the country are now Christians. Faith remains their greatest asset. Here, thousands of people pack a church on a Thursday night for worship. And based on gross domestic product, Burundi is the third poorest country in the world. Based on their faith, I would say it's one of the wealthiest. As they are successful in changing their nation with Christian values, other African countries will follow. How can God not bless this nation when the president himself leads his people by example with hosting a worship and a prayer service every week?
Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.